Hello everyone, it's the Canadian Wi-Fi here. As you can see, I have a very interesting team on your screen for you today. There is a Venomoth. There's also a Hydreigon. Other than that, I mean, it looks pretty standard from my end. You have the Glisterachi Stalkor and a Tyranitar, but there are hidden awesomenesses in this team that you are not even quite aware of. Looking at the opponent's team, it looks very black-white one-ish. I mean, he probably has the Sandforce, Landorus, the Conkeldurr, I mean, the Gastrodon, Account of Rain, Calm Mind, Reuniclus, so black-white one-ish. Unfortunately, all of those sets are not what they are, and they're actually all black-white 2 sets, but we won't get into that. We'll just play the match back, and we'll see how it goes. So, I am going to lead off with my Gastrodon, as it pairs up somewhat well against everything on his team. As he leads off with the Landorus, knowing he cannot kill me, he's going to switch right out into his Tyranitar, and just set up the Stealth Rock as I go for the Toxic, crippling the Tyranitar's survivability for the rest of the game, ensuring that my Tyranitar Sand will actually be the Sandstorm that is up for the rest of the game. Anyway, he's going to go into Reuniclus, and predicting it to be Calm Mind, I go into my Dragon Dance Tyranitar, but it just dies. So, yeah. Now I have to go into Gastrodon, knowing that I can probably take a bunch of hits and just recover stall him till his Trick Room runs out to 1 turn. Then I make a kind of obvious play, to be honest. It wasn't that great, but I mean, it helped me out. Believe me, it helped me out. Ha, get it? But seriously, I'll go out in my Hydreigon, and I'm just gonna go for the substitute here because the Trick Room ran out, and he probably predicts me to have a Dark move, and I'm just gonna go out into this thing. And now that I'm down at about 50% health, and when I switch in for sure I'm going to be at 50% health, I'm just going to go for the Roost to get back up to full. Toxic stall the Tyranitar maybe a little bit, but I believe I go for another sub. I really have no reason not to go for another sub. And he's just going to switch out and go back out into the Reuniclus. Hoping that I would switch out maybe to Gliscor to take the... Hoping I'd switch out to Gliscor to take the Stone Edge. Anyway, he goes for the Trick Room. As I do like 50%? Holy crap, this thing is really bulky and hits really hard, and goddamn, like, Hydreigon, you're my favorite ever. Anyway, I actually predict the miss here because the correct play was to keep substituting because there was no way I was going to get off a Roost. And, like, if I had to keep subbing until he ran out of Trick Room turns, at which point he could just reset him up as I roosted and I'd get nowhere. So I had to predict the miss, and I do predict the miss correctly because I'm just that amazing at the game. And, just gonna kill him off with the Dragon Pulse. I don't really need to keep a sub up because there's not that much of a problem. But I'm gonna predict the Drain Punch, go into my Venomoth, take it like a boss because Vmoth is the manliest moth, even though she is a female moth. It is not even a matter of mattering. It doesn't matter because I missed the Sleep Powder because my Vmoth is not well trained in the slightest, as my opponent's gonna go out in the Tyranitar. I actually miss another Sleep Powder because my Vmoth is extremely poorly trained, as I'm just gonna Baton Pass out to avoid the pursuit. In case you can't figure it out, that is a Baton Pass Venomoth, and it's supposed to Baton Pass +2 into Hydreigon, at which point Hydreigon sweeps the entire OU metagame with Dragon Pulse and Earth Power. Nothing can live 2 hits. Nothing can live 1 hit at +2. Nothing can live 2 hits, sorry, at +2. Everything dies in 2 hits. Anyway, what happened there? I set up Stealth Rock with Jirachi, as he doesn't do that much with Tyranitar's Focus Blast, as we both double out at the same time. I know he has Guts, but I'm going to go for the Toxic anyway, just because Conkeldurr is a threat. And this was, again, a really obvious play, but I had to make it, and luckily for me, he did not predict that, go for the Ice Punch, and this Conkeldurr is no longer a threat, because I'm just going to be able to go for the Protect, as he goes for the Ice Punch. And because I'm faster, I mean, I can just be completely douchey substall Gliscor here, and just go for the sub as soon as he wants to switch out, because he realizes what the hell is going on. He doesn't want any part of this. Luckily, he brings in a Gastrodon. I'm like, well, I have Toxic. I'm sub-Toxic Gliscor. Thank you for letting me Toxic your Gastrodon. It is next to useless now. As I'm going to go for the sub here instead of the Protect. And right here, predicting my Protect like an absolute boss. Great play by my opponent. He's going to go right out into the Landorus as I go for the Protect, but it really doesn't matter too much because I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the HP. He's obviously not going to go for the Earth Power. And I see that he's Life Orb, and I'm just going to trick this man a Scarf right away knowing he is the Rock Polish set, and now he is a Choice Scarf mod Sheer Force, so he won't be hitting as hard with the Earth Power because it won't be Life Orb boosted. It'll only be Sheer Force boosted. Anyway, this allows me to get up a free Roost with my Hydreigon, which is absolutely wonderful because this thing is so bulky. It doesn't even, I don't think it has any defense EVs. It only has like 108 HP EVs, and it just never dies, and it hits so hard, and it's still somewhat fast, even though it's in a bad speed tier. It outspeeds what it needs to, and just, the Mach Punch was as obvious as all hell, so I'm just going to sack Venomoth here, because I figured that would be my optimal play. I mean, it's not really going to do much. Hydreigon's already doing work by itself. It doesn't need the boost. No. Subroost Hydreigon is just amazing. Subroost Gengar is good too. I don't know why I said Gengar, because it's not even part of this battle. Anyway, I'm going to go for the Ice Beam, just pressuring him into... if he goes at the Gastrodon, it'll get damage on him and pressure him into recovering. And if he goes at the Garchomp or Landorus, it obviously will kill them. And if he goes at the T-Tar, it'll start stacking up with Toxic damage. Anyway, I let him Toxic me, as he wins the speed tie and goes for the recover, and I get min damage on the Ice Beam anyway, so it wouldn't have killed regardless, but it's still like, come on dude, are you kidding? Anyway, here I wanted to predict the Tyranitar coming in, but I really was in no position to. I just wanted to keep putting pressure on things, getting a little bit of damage. I have no idea why he did not Pursuit here, because then Landorus would have been a pretty big problem actually if he came in and started spamming Earth Power. Well, no, because I have two things that fly, but I don't know, man. The Gastrodon would have been really weak. Anyway, I'm able to Toxic Stall this Tyranitar here, throw on a Protect, and then throw on an Earthquake, and I'm going to be back up above 50%, above 60% even, because I am a Gliscor. That is a lie. I'm going to be above 50% because I'm a Gliscor. I mean, it's powerful, but it's not that powerful. Anyway, he brings in Landorus, and I'm like, are you kidding? This just gave me a free Protect. I know your Scarf. You can't do anything. I'm going to see what move you're locked into. Get up to a really nice, healthy amount of HP, considering I was at 29 3 turns ago. And I'm just going to go right into my Gastrodon, because I can easily take an HP Ice. And I'll go for another Ice Beam, because I really should have went for the Earth Power, to be honest, because I know the Gastrodon switch on his end was his only option. But I'm actually going to go for the Recover, because I don't want to be swept by Landorus, and the last few turns have left me somewhat vulnerable to it. I'm just going to go for the Earth Power. Again, trying to keep pressure on this Gastrodon, and now that the Toxic is starting to rack up a tiny bit, I'm going to switch out into my own Hydreigon as switch out my Gastrodon into my Hydreigon. I don't know why I said my own Hydreigon, he doesn't have one. Anyway, this allows me to just set up a sub, and that's basically the game. He can't touch me at this point. He thinks, this is an interesting play, he thinks that Roost gets rid of Levitate. Sorry, it doesn't. That is why you should always run Roost over Recover on your Latios and Latias, just to trick people who have the common misconception that Roost gets rid of flying abilities slash levitate slash like your ability to be above the ground. It doesn't. It only actually gets rid of your flying type. So Latios, they still levitate above your Earthquakes, even on the turn that they Roost, and they could buy you a free turn, so always run Roost. You're welcome for that. Anyway, that's going to be the game, because Dragon Pulse is just going to finish off the last three things on his team, because Hydreigon's an absolute powerhouse. Everyone go use one, and that's about all I have to say for you today, so hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to see more content. I will see you guys next time. Peace.